Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about kit from Tamiya. It's a bike kit or bike model in a 1/12 scale, and it copies Suzuki RGV-Gamma XR89. It's a racing motorcycle and it comes in a 1/12 scale as a kit number 81. So we have a, let's say, final shape of this kit, and obviously it is a final shape because it was bought with your help, with help of your donations. So it will be interesting to check what is actually included here and why this kit might be a perfect choice for modelers who would like to try their first bike in a sport version, not as a civil version. So first of all, box design is not that surprising for this manufacturer. We have short list of the features here, and of course really nice box art, which is an actual painting. You can see it if you take a closer look. Maybe if I will bring it like this, you can see that it's painted, it's not a photo 3D model. Next, on the side here we have also, let's say, see-through pictures which show that there is some internal details as well, so it's not just an empty shell kit with no internals. And here you can see a photo of the real bike, so that you can see how it was, let's say, racing in the real life. But I mean, it's not difficult to find some reference photos in case you need them. So this is a top opening box. It's easy to open, and here is what we have inside. And I would say packaging is also typical for Tamiya. We have each sprue packed into separate plastic bags, even though here we have two of them packed together. And I can guess that they're closed with staples, so I will have to use my famous tool, and Nikki knows how it's named. It's a T-bonder, hahaha. But anyway, I mean, it's always better to use the special tools which are suitable for this, for removing staples, in order to avoid damaging your fingers. So that's why I'm always repeating this. Be sure to have them, because it will be worth it and you will save yourself from unnecessary injuries. So first of all, we are going to start with a chrome plated sprue, and I really like what we have here. Maybe if I would build this bike, if I would build this model, I would even consider leaving these parts as they are, because as you can see, this chrome plating is really good. It looks quite convincing, and don't see any need in repainting, or let's say I would say skinning these parts in order to get them repainted or airbrushed with some special paint. But of course, it's your decision. If you would like to make your build a bit more involved, you're free to go. As for me, all these parts look good. Maybe with a bit of weathering and washing, it will be a really nice result straight out of the box without unnecessary painting and other work. Next, we continue with the black sprue. So here we have something I'm not, let's say, clear to understand why Tamiya does it always. Here we have front wheel fender, which should be assembled out of two halves. Even though whole front fairing is molded as a single piece part, these parts are glued out of two halves. So you have to work around somehow, you have to sand it, or maybe even to use a bit of trickery with liquid Tamiya glue, but otherwise it is more or less fine. Next, we continue with various brake discs, brake rotors, and also here we have various body parts. Again, molding quality seems to be fine. Here we have airbox, and also we have a rear stand, which is assembled out of several parts, but as you can see, it's a really easy thing to get together, and of course it will be handy for displaying your model, because otherwise whole bike will stand on two wheels. Next, we continue with the sealed plastic bag, but I guess there is no need to open it. Well, let's open it, okay. Because here we have vinyl tires, we have also screws, screwdriver, and even the spring for the suspension. So just give me a second to open it, and we will take a closer look together. So, first of all, we have this vinyl tubing. It will be necessary for replicating all these brake lines and other stuff on the bike, so that's really good thing to have out of the box. Next we continue with vinyl tires. There are two sizes obviously, and as you can see they have seam in the middle, so you have to sand them down properly in order to get a more convincing finish. But other than that, it's a typical vinyl tire, so there's nothing to add. Next we continue with a screwdriver and several types of the screws. So it's also typical thing for a bike kit from Tamiya. They're usually assembled, large sub-assemblies are usually connected together with help of the screws. Next we also have this textile mesh. I'm not sure where it will be used, maybe for some air vent, but still it is a good addition. And of course this metal spring for the shock absorber. As you can see, it is black and it is actual metal spring, so really good thing to have. Next we continue with the first white plastic sprue, so I'm going to use the bonder again, just give me a second. And we will take a closer look together. I'm trying to open it, because somehow this staple just jumps out, keeps jumping out of the plastic bag. And that's what's tricky about the Tamiya kits, because once you open this plastic bag you cannot close it again. And of course you have to open all these staples. But from the other side it at least shows that kit was not opened before you. So here we have the fairing parts, and I guess I should close the lenses so that you can at least comprehend what is here. These large panels are outer panels. We also have fuel tank here, which should be glued out of 2H, so be ready for some sanding as well. And molding quality seems to be fine, they are quite smooth, and of course on the opposite side you will find all these installation elements which will help you with overall alignment. Next we have front fairing, and I'm going to open it right now. Sorry, it's just winter weather, really strange one. Okay, so as I said before, this fairing is molded as a single piece part and it looks really good. You won't have to do anything here, basically. It's ready to go on as long as you, let's say, separate this tab from the fairing. And of course it is nice to have such design because it saves you some time from, let's say, doing some adjustments in such visible area. You don't have to worry that you have any seams or gaps in such visible area. But still, as you remember, the fuel tank, the wheel fender and other stuff, they should be glued out of 2H. So at least in something you will have to work a bit. Next we continue with gray plastic sprue. So what do we have here? First of all, we have engine parts. Here they are. And as you can see, engine should be glued out of several elements. It will be quite a complex assembly, and usually Tamiya engines are really detailed, so it would be worth investing your time into proper painting. Next we continue with exhausts. So they're also quite nice, and this bike has quite an interesting structure of the exhaust, so it will be, I would say, quite involving work to do. We have separate clutch, which is visible on the finished model, by the way, so worth investing your time into painting, a drive chain, and also some other parts such as, for example, radiator. And everything looks fine. I like the molding quality, and of course it's Tamiya, so it should be easy to assemble together. In the same plastic bag we also have decals for tires. We have Michelin logo, which will have to be applied on the vinyl tires we saw earlier. Maybe these are more of a stickers. And there is also a clear part for the windscreen, which is packed into the separate plastic bag. So just give me a second. I will open it right now and we will take a closer look together. Okay, so here it is. And here, as far as I remember, you don't have to do anything, you just glue it into the place. Maybe you can shade it a bit in the lower area, but it's already your decision because I'm not sure how it was on the real bike. Next we continue with the decals, and yes, there are 2 decal sheets because the overall marking, let's say, of this bike is quite extensive and you have to do a lot of decal work, so I'm taking them out right now. So first of all we see this small decal sheet. Let's zoom in. Here we have even decals for the radiator mesh, and I guess we will have to use them because, as you can see, there is a special, let's say, structure which cannot be replicated by the brush, but it's up to you whether you would like to go this way. And next we continue with another decal sheet. This one is bigger because it carries the main symbols, which are metallic, as you can see, and this is really interesting finish. I'm going to zoom out a bit so that you can see how decals sheet, and it looks really great, but as I said, it will be a bit involving work because you have to apply all these decals in a special sequence so that you copy the actual marking on your bike. Now let's zoom out a bit. So here we have Tamiya Tech Tips brochure, which is also standard for such release. Unfortunately, we get the marking in a black and white version, so it's better to get some reference material so that you understand what you have to do here and there. And next we continue with assembly manual. This one is also printed as a black and white brochure. We have short history note on the first page. Next we continue with assembly process, so everything starts with the wheel. As you can see, you will have to assemble rear swing arm together with the drive chain. Then we continue with oil filter for the rear shock absorber, and then we assemble the whole main frame together. Next we continue with connecting all this stuff together, and then we start building the engine. So as you can see, there are also exact length of the piping you have to use here and there. Next we continue with the radiator and also various equipment, and here you can see more of various lines being added here and there. We assemble exhaust. As you can see, it's a several parts assembly, so be ready for that. And next, so here we have installation of the rear brake. I can see the front handles being assembled. Then we build the hand brakes and also the steering compensator, as far as you can see. Here we work on the front wheel rim, and then we install the front brake lines as well. Here you can see the seat cowl for the rear, and of course this fuel tank. And next we continue with so it's not a fuel tank, it's a rear cover done like this. As you can see, it will have to be inserted into the exhaust, and then we work on the actual fuel tank. But that's not all, because here we also have some final steps. So you install this large front fairing, you install clear parts. That's where the mesh will come handy. And also all fairing parts are fixed with the screws, so you can remove them if you want, and you can expose the internals. It's really handy feature in case you would like to display what was assembled inside. But it's barely visible through the finished model, as you can see here, so you shouldn't be worried in my opinion. And the whole kit should be already available. You can get it in any good model shop. Again, I would like to thank you for the donation which made this review possible. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about such release in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.